Enriching lives. Regulated by the Uganda Communications Commission. Issues at hand.
And of course, you'll be hearing songs of the Martyrs around the Kampala city on your radios, on your TV stations. Yes, are celebrating 140 years. That's quite interesting. And we are counting down 12 days remaining to commemorate the Martyrs at the Anglican site in Namugongo this year of 2025. And what's so interesting today, we are so delighted to be joined by Reverend Richard Rukundo. He is, of course, the coordinator of the Children's Ministry Church of Uganda. And what we want to discuss apparently today, on Saturday, we'll be celebrating the Children's Martyrs, something related into that. And we really need to understand what is this celebration about. You know, Reverend, it's quite interesting. When every year we commemorate the Martyrs, most of our children, we do not know if they really understand this picture. Do they really get this picture of the Martyrs into their minds? But before we proceed, a very good morning and welcome to this program.
Good morning, and it's nice to be back. Church of Uganda Family TV. What a joy. It's a blessing for all of you listening to us, watching us, wherever you are. And indeed, it is the season when we remember the Martyrs. Yes. Commemorated. People have gotten walking. People, if you travel through the streets along, especially from the western northern routes, you'll meet pilgrims walking, trying to emphasize their faith. And I think that's a good opportunity for us to talk about the children.
Yeah, the children.
And do you know what is very interesting? That Martyrs were young people.
Imagine.
The Martyrs were not adults. Most of them were pages. The pages were young boys and who were dedicated to serve the Lord. And so we talk about Martyrs. It sounds like they are very VIPs, honorable members of parliament. No, these were little young men and boys, some of them even minors, and they had their faith committed to God, and they were willing to go through any torture or any pain for the sake of Christ. And that's why we remember them. So I think it's an opportunity for us to talk about young people, the children and the youth, and how we as Church of Uganda are encouraging the celebrations to incorporate children, to talk about the young people who were part of the celebrations that we do.
So basically, if you bring out that picture of the young people, I think we need to understand, viewers need to understand, you know, we were in there, to us, we, this generation of the Gen Zs, can I call it like that? We were in there in the past years when those matters. So as someone needs to understand the age that you're talking about, how was that?
So thank you very much. The Church of Uganda preparations for the Martyrs, of course, this year are led by the Northern Uganda cluster dioceses. And we are glad that every other celebration year, we have now had an event for children, an event for youth, an event for women and children. So Mission Department tries to organize a number of activities that engage the different age groups. But the children, basically, we're talking about people who are below 18, but mostly we also get below 14, 13, 12, these teenagers, secondary school, primary school. Sometimes we get people from churches, kids from churches. Because there's a youth event, which tends to have our youth in Church of Uganda got to 35. So you can imagine. So we have people who are coming from colleges, from universities, sometimes from communities. So sometimes you have the older youth. But teenagers, basically, the young people. And of course, you know, in the children, sometimes we have primary schools, a lot of primary schools. Sometimes there may be older young ones. So our focus is basically churches, where there's children's church, Sunday schools, and primary schools where the children can come from as well. Then we have an event which has more youth, which are secondary schools, the higher institutions of learning, and the universities as well, where the youth will come. So this Saturday, on 24th, we shall be having the children who are basically from primary schools and Sunday schools and children's ministries, and who we are expecting to be able to come and be part of the celebration, get to hear the message, the theme of the event, what is going on, what is expected of of us as Christians in our walk, in emulating the martyrs, how do we continue to be the people that God wants us to be? Because we know that the challenge that the martyrs leave us as young people who were killed for their faith is that they went through, I think it wasn't easy. Their time wasn't easy. But the challenge, and I think that's the challenge we have to Gen Zs, to everybody who's listening, is to appreciate that the challenge that you face today may not be any different from the challenges they faced that time. Sometimes there's a feeling that, we are going through a lot of hardships, and I'm like, wait a moment. These guys may not have had what we had today, but they still decided to love the Lord and continue committed to their faith. So I think that's the challenge we want to put everybody, that, as we celebrate these events, they're not just for us as a church. Events that come and go. They are events that should leave a mark on us, should strengthen us in terms of how we focus on our faith, our Christ, and the call on our lives. And I think that's the opportunity we have, that we have these children coming, and I'm encouraging parents, I'm encouraging teachers of the children. This event is free. We don't charge money. They only need to pack a snack for break, and we shall provide some lunch for them. There's a lot of activities, a lot of things to talk about what they are planning to be able to have. So the children can appreciate that, we are growing in a world which is tough. But we need to be focused. What is our goal? Our goal is to make a mark in this world. And when we have left, someone will say, you were here, you left a mark, you were here and you made a difference. We're here and we love the Lord, the things we did. And I think that's the challenge that we have as young people. And that's the challenge I live with everybody listening to us, that what is it that the martyrs leave us, that we can challenge ourselves to say, in this generation, in this era, I will also leave a mark. I may not be a martyr, dying for we're not going to die for Christ, but I think we will need to leave a mark in every way, that people will remember us and say, this generation or these people, while they were here, there's something they made a difference. The world transformed because of them. They innovated, they were creative, they trusted the Lord, and maybe the generations after will also celebrate us. Who knows? So that's how we celebrate the martyrs. So we're not there, yes, but I think we have a challenge on us to be able to live exemplarily, leave a mark, and be the people that God wants us to be in this world.
On your side, as the connect with the leader of the children's ministry of Church of Uganda. Probably, what have you really done to see? Because according to what you have stated, the martyrs went through a lot, and this is what we are going through as the youths or the Gen Zs of this generation. But what have you done as a ministry to ensure that you really mentor these children, these youths? Because we have kids who are into addictions of drugs. We have children who are into prostitution. Others decided to quit school because they don't want to be they don't want to be controlled by their parents. So what have you done apparently about that?
Yes, thank you, Rita. I think this is a good one to appreciate that Church of Uganda is doing a ministry, and we've over the years had ministries for young people, for children, for youth, and we are very emphatic on what we do in mentoring our young people. I think it's a big challenge. The truth that you said about the things that are happening around us, there are drugs, there are addictions happening, and everywhere you'll find that young people are struggling with one thing or the other. I think for us as a church, one is make sure that we have people who are leaders, who are exemplary. And I think for me, my work as a provincial coordinator for children's programs is make sure that in schools, in churches, in organizations, even in homes, parents, adults, leaders, everybody who's working with teachers, the teachers, we have a team of people who know what to do, how to do it right, and talk to young people. Because recently I did clinical psychology, and I realized that, sometimes you need some expertise to know. You just can't go and hand someone with addiction and say, I pray for you and addiction will end. So sometimes we just need to be able to know what is the right thing to do. And so what we do, number one, is equip people for works of service. Can we be able out there? And I think many parents, and I keep saying this on many times, that parents themselves are not parents because they've gone to school. They are learning on job. Forgive them. Some of them are struggling. So parents, do they know what to do? The teachers, do they know what to do? The pastors ourselves, do we know how to help young people who are going through challenges of life, who are struggling with these things that you talked about? How can we help? And I think number one is, as a church, to see that we have put people in place who are knowledgeable, who understand the context of young people, who can speak to them in their lives, and who can bring the message that is appropriate at the right time, and they can be able to change. So leadership, which knowledge skills in appreciating that we can do something. It's not just for NGOs, for government. We as a church have a part to play as well. And the second thing I think we are doing as well is put in touch content Are we having curriculums, materials, things that people can use to be able to get out there and help? And I think that's what we do at provincial level. We have curriculums which can use to teach children in Sunday school, in churches, in schools. These materials are being done to help them to appreciate that, this is bad, this is not good for you, this has a challenge for you, this is what God says to us as young people, as people God has called to love us. And I think that's very good. The church is putting out content, a lot of material, publications, things that we can do, social media, in every platform that we can use. Can we be able to give out the right information? Because that information is not where the young people will access information and say, oh, by the way, if I take drugs, this is what will happen to me. If I don't do this, it will affect me as a young person growing up. And so this is what is very important for us, that we have the right material, content that young people can access in every aspect that they can approach, so they have at least an opportunity to access this material. And that's very, very helpful for us. And I think that's and foremost is for us to see about that young people have opportunity to come to us, come. We can get out there where they are, because we have these conferences, camps going on, we have outreaches, we have where they are going, where they are in schools. Are we going there to preach to them? Are we going to the schools where they spend most of the time? Are we talking to homes where they are going? Are we in the community trying to work with them? Because sometimes young people, are there. We cannot reach them. Sometimes they're thinking the world of the church is where they will come. Some of them may not come. So are you reaching out to them? And I think the church is now emphasizing how do we reach out to communities, to young people who are on the streets, who are in rehabilitation centers, who are having challenges with addictions. And that's very important for us, that we are able to be committed to reach out. Our activities must be focused on how we can get young people together in conferences and camps, so that they can come, and that's their thing. That's why we have them in Mgongo. If we have a children's event, they're able to come together and we can speak out to them. We can encourage them. If you have not organized an event for them, how will they come?
They won't.
And if you tell them that there's no opportunity for them to come to Namgongo, there are no shares for them, these are for VIPs, they will not come. So that's why I'm saying, as a church, we need to create platforms where they can be able to come, engage with you, hear their views, pray with them, talk to them about their struggles, so that they can walk this life knowing that there's a purpose in life. There's someone who loves me. There's someone who appreciates me. But I think sometimes we think that church is for the adults, those who have the money, those who... And that's why we mean to demystify that many events like these ones, the Martyrs, are not just for VIPs and big people and bishops. No, it's for all of us. That we all have an opportunity to get there. And there's an opportunity for me as a young man, for someone as a child, to be able to get the right message, to be able to plan. So these activities are organized by the church to reach out to the right people, talk to them, encourage them, talk to their language, say that, this is a platform for you to express yourself, to grow together, to know one another, to know who can grow with you, to know who you can talk to and encourage. And I think that's very important. Are we having platforms? And I think that's a challenge I have even with government. Where do we go when we have challenges? Where do we go when we have young people who have, do they even come to us when we have issues? So that's where I'm challenging us as a church, that we need to be able to get out where young people are, get them together, put ourselves there, let's be our friends with them, let's make sure that we are there to do the right thing, so they can look at us and say, yes, someone loves me, someone cares for me. As a child, you must have remembered someone saying, you're not welcome here for a party. You're not, that's very common in a community, that you always have young people always feeling like they're not welcome.
They're rejected.
They are not, why are you here? It's like you're in the wrong place all the time. But I think we need to create an opportunity for young people to know that, no, there's a party for me. There's a place where I can go and I'm welcomed, I'm accepted, I'm loved, and I'm able to be heard. I also have a voice. And I think that's for me very vital as a church in what we are doing.
And on the some point view that you've all spoken about, we are now seeing that most of the kids, they do not know that they're really craving for this life. When that child is not loved, they will transition into the world. They'll either go for men, sugar daddies, sugar mummies, because they believe that the ones who can
love them, maybe care for them.
You mentioned about our parents who are now on their jobs 24/7. Now kids are now at home for their holidays. We have the social medias, which are now open. TVs are now open. The Western culture has now impacted so many things that we are now copying and pasting. Children who are now like maybe 8 years are having phones. Children who are, can I call it, a kid who is not supposed to have a gadget, now parents are now free to do the things, to give them whatever they need, because they have no control over them. So what is the way forward to this? Because we were talking about this every now and then, but we're not seeing any change. Every time we are seeing the numbers increasing, children now getting so much to the Western culture. So as the Reverend and the Minister of God, and of course dealing with the children's ministry, what is your opinion about that? And what is the way forward?
I think that's Rita, very good one, that we are living in a world which is transforming, and these communities are changing, society is growing, technology is improving. And I think the first thing for me is to say technology is here to stay. We can't say we'll hide away from it. I think let's not hide ourselves in the sack. That I tell parents, there's no phones and TVs are here, they're growing every day, radios are growing on, the internet is coming more, phones are coming more. Technology is here maybe to stay. The thing is, how do we harness it for the good of the children that God has given us to be able to grow? And I think that's the challenge for me I put to adults, those who are advanced. For me, if I give a child a phone, my point is, how do I help this child to appreciate that I can live with it? There's this opportunity for TVs, for programming. Can we be as parents in charge? Can we be able to guide, mentor? Because this young person is still open to a device. He's still open to your presence. I think the challenge that we have with many of us as adults, we're not present. Many of us are absent. We are not there. We are not having time to give to these young people. You give a phone, you think you have solved it. You give a TV, you say, now I have paid for pay TV, so you can watch whatever you want. I think that's the biggest mistake. We, the adults, need to come to our senses to appreciate that, when I give you a gadget, I also need to follow up. What is going on? How are you using it? Otherwise, if I give you a phone and also go to WhatsApp and you also go to TikTok, then what will we do? Everybody's doing that. You are younger, you have more friends, maybe you have more content talking to you, which is going to be right. So I think for me, technology is here to stay. We need to wake up as adults to appreciate that we need to guide our young people. And I think even in schools, even in churches, even in places where we are, let's encourage young people to know you can have a phone and your phone can be a good gadget. You can use it for good purposes. You can be able to have a TV, but you can watch good purposes. There's good. Learn to choose. And I tell young people, choice is part of what God has given us. We can choose between what is bad and what is wrong. God gave us that opportunity to choose. Let's empower young people to appreciate that choice is very important. That if there are 10 things, I need to choose the right thing. Otherwise, if you're going to be choosing everything, you will crash. You can't be on every social media. You can't be watching everything. You can't be going everywhere they tell you. You can't be loving everybody. No. You need to say, this is my choice. This is what I'm going to go with. And so we need to empower young people. And I believe when we do that when they are still younger, and that's why I'm purposing that as a church, we need to do it when they're still younger, when their faith is stronger, when their commitments are stronger, when their purpose is stronger, when they're younger, when their aims are clear, when they're younger. Then as they grow, it is much easier to be determined. When you're growing up, you know that there are things you did and you did them because you're young. You could be able to go on and say, now I learned that when I was a young person, and now as I grow, I find it easier because I was able to do it when I was young. And I think that's where we are failing as parents, as community, as society, as a church. Can we be intentional in mentoring our young people, in loving them, in growing them up, in discipling them, in showing them the right way? The Bible is clear. Train up a child in the way they should go. And that has never failed us. That when you train up a child, they will not depart from it. I think what we are failing as adults, as a church, as a government, as everybody leadership, we are invested in ourselves. We are putting more money on ourselves, more things on how we can be, and we think, they will grow. They will find it at their level. When they grow, they will find it there. But really, do we have enough of ourselves present with them to guide, to encourage, to nurture, to mentor, to be able to do the right thing? They can look at us, they can learn from us. And I think the more we get busy, the more we invest ourselves in other things, the more we leave them. And I am worried that would be the problem, where our world is crumbling because we are not there. Your child will tell you something and you're like, what? How did that happen? Because you're not there. You were shocked. The child is on TikTok posting things you don't even know. For me, when I'm your friend, I will know which TikTok that you are. What is your name? We share. And I have young people. I have been with them. We are friends. They will not block me. They will know the daddy knows he will love and say, okay, this one, what do we say? And they know they love football. I love this. We are part of their lives and encourage them. And social media and internet and communication is here to stay. We just need to be focused to appreciate that our young people need our guidance now when they are young. And I call upon leaders. I call upon parents, I call upon everybody who's responsible. Can we be more intentional and deliberate in helping our young people to live in the world that is transforming, that is changing, and live making decisions that are better, wiser, that are more able to lead them to be people with purpose.
Basically, I think I don't know if you really got this video that was going viral. One of the girls, I think a girl happened to bring in a fellow friend who is a boy. And this boy would dress like a girl. And he would go inside the girl's room and sleeps over there. That now if such kind of things are happening, then that shows what the world is now going right now.
And then you see that's also the call upon us as adults, as parents, as those who are in charge of the children. If your daughter has friends, know them. Know where they come from. Be part of their lives. And I think that's a challenge to us again. How do you know your child? How do you know your young person? The young people are around. And I think sometimes sometimes in this country, the biggest problem we have are young people. They're
it's
the ones who
us.
are rowdy. Like now, we're starting political season. You will see them. They're the ones being tear gas. They're the ones rallying, saying things. Because some of them are not guided. I think we need to have people who are with them, who love them, who appreciate who they are, who hear what their views are, who talks. If you are a mother and you know your daughter and you talk with her and she knows your friends and you know you are friends with her and you can be able to see her friends and you know where they come from, then they will not bring you someone you do not know. But if you don't know where the person comes and says, this is my friend, you don't even know where are they coming from, whose parents are they, whose daughter are they, do you know their parents, have you ever seen them, have you ever seen her? So I think we need to go deeper. Let's go deeper into appreciating that young people are young people. They are creative and they will look for a way of how to dodge us. You are a young person, you're not interested, they're also not interested. They will look for a way of saying, okay, Kasato, you're also not there for us, let's look for a way of how to survive. So for me, I believe that's an intentionality that we need to have. There's a deliberate effort we need to do. So that when you are there, you are able to follow up on everything. Let me tell you, Rita, if you've been with someone and you love them and they know you and they have grown with you and you know their family and you know, it's very difficult for you to deceive them.
That's
it's very
right.
difficult because you have a relationship. And I think relationships matter with young people, that we just can't meet them on the road and think, you're my daughter, you're my what else is there? You're not just their daughter, you have a friendship, you have a relationship with them, you guide them, you pray with them, you talk to them, you hear them. When they say the other thing, you advise like an adult, like a friend, like a parent, like someone who's been given authority. So I think we need to go deeper, and I think that goes to every society, the political leadership, the religious leaders, the parents, all of us. Can we get deeper into young people's lives and being able to know what do they want? Sometimes I laugh at how we have sometimes say this program is coming on. I'm like helping young people, I'm like, did they ask them? Did they even know what they want? Because you're giving money and you think I'm going to start a piggery and I still buy a phone, and that's what I want. So I think we need to be deliberate more, intentional more. This country is blessed because we have more young people than anybody else. We have children and youth, the biggest numbers. So how can we be able to have more Rukundos who are passionate about young people, more deliberate, more getting out there, parents who think, sometimes parents, I'm going to send my child there to you. I'm thinking, no, you also have a role to do in nurturing teachers, the schools. We have to be able to talk to them, love them, care for them, listen to them, because they have a voice. We grow. But there are things we need to do. There are things we don't do now when you grow. But as you grow, there are things that you need to hear. You need to know. You need to be guided on. I think that's important at every stage of the young person's life.
Okay, let us get into a quick commercial break. We'll be right back with more of the conversation discussions. We are looking into the Martyrs Children's celebrations happening this Saturday at the Namgongo Anglican State. This conversation, I hope it is really giving you a picture that you shouldn't leave a youth out there behind on that very day. Let us come back after this quick commercial break.
Issues at hand. This is Church of Uganda Family TV. Enriching lives. Regulated by the Uganda Communications Commission. This is Church of Uganda Family TV. Enriching lives. Regulated by the Uganda Communications Commission. Issues at hand.
Yes, our parents out there, I urge you to really check this information so sensitive and get to know that your children need to know more about the matters. I know being the Gen Zs of this generation, most of the children or most of the youth have been diverted from the purposes of God, and they are now transitioning into being impacted into other things of the world, which really will make their lives to be miserable and others failing in life. But right now, we need to find out the program. Reverend Richard Rukundo, we are still with him in our conversation, and if you missed the first segment, we are live on YouTube channel Church of Uganda Family TV. You can be able to catch up with us and get to listen most key points that the Reverend really elaborated and talked about when it comes to the youths or the children of this generation. Kindly, Reverend, break out to us how the program is and what should we expect.
Yes, thank you very much, Rita. And those who have listened to us, Church of Uganda Family TV, we will be there and we'll be live with them. Yes. Church of Uganda is part of us, and we want to make sure this event reaches those who can. As you know, this is a national event. It's a provincial event. It collects people from all over. Although Northern Uganda Diocese is organizing, we will have people from all over Uganda. Some are coming from the east, dioceses in Busoga, dioceses in Ankole in the west, dioceses in Northern Uganda, Kitugo, Mugulu, Lango. So we're expecting children that are come from all over because it's a national event. The provincial secretary usually writes and writes to all dioceses. So it's an event that we expect children who are coming from all over the country. And the event starts in the morning. By 8, we are already there. And we start with a march, Jesus March. We call it a Jesus March. We usually don't march very far, but we watch around. We march around. And usually we have speakers who are invited. We do a devotion, a Bible study. And the theme this year is coming from Galatians chapter 6. And so we'll be doing something about how we can, our theme this year is imitating God because He is good and being able to do good things. And we've told, we don't teach the children how to be able to live in this world as exemplary, as good stewards of what God has called us to do, but also loving and serving one another. And so we shall be having somebody talk about that, and then we shall be able to have children activities. Children get into different groups, age groups, and where they are able to do some activities. They help them to, some of them will share, some will ask questions. What does it mean for me? Tell stories about what's happening in my world, and the teachers interact with them. So that takes some time as well. But then also we have some time when the children come together, they sing. This is coming from the Soga have songs, from Barada have a song, from this school Kampala has a dance, and they do together. So we also have a time when they do presentations to one another. And usually, of course, we have the organizers. This time it's the bishops who are coming from Northern. They'll be there to address the children. And usually we also have an opportunity from the Namgongo team, which is been there to tell us the story of the matters in Namgongo. What happened there? How is, which one is where? You know, this is, some children are there for the first time usually, and so they don't know what happened where. So they show them this is the Kayanja, where they wash their hands after the man killed them. This is where the tree where they tied them is. So there's something as well to tour the place and see what is in the place, and as well learn from the area, because you're also going to Namgongo, the site where the martyrs actually died. So the children have opportunity to see some of those things. Some of them have never seen that and have never been able to experience that. So we give that opportunity as well. And usually, of course, the program starts around 8 and ends by 4. So we make sure that children and in there. So we have lunch provided for the children. So it's a good event that children come by, and we live with the main reason. Of course, we also have some games. There are castles. We are planning to have some of them in the bouncing castles. There are games for the children. But of course, in addition to that, we also want the main thing to be the main thing, that the children come there and live strengthened as Christians, as believers in their faith, and determined to walk and be able to stand for what is right and what is true, and live in a world which is challenging, but they are examples to their friends, they are examples in their family. They have a faith that they can go with at school, even when they are seeing people with drugs, they are seeing those who are doing things which are not right. They're like, no, I'm a Christian, I need to stand straight. And so that's the reason for us to have this event for young people, and we still encourage that the main thing becomes the main thing, although we have other things that attract the children. The children have food and have fun, but also we keep the main thing the main thing. So the program is meant to tailor the children, encourage them, love them, but also be able to have them have fun and be part of the learning. So they can come back next time and say, oh yeah, Namgongo is the place to go next time. And as they grow, they appreciate that Namgongo is our site, is our place to grow, is a place to be able to celebrate, and something that is meaningful in their lives. So it's very important for us as we do the program to tailor it to the things that we make sense to the lives of the children, but also leave an impact in their lives. That they can go back and tell someone a story and say, today I had a story, today I had this verse, memory verse, today I had this word, today I felt. The last year I remember when we had the time for prayer, the children came, and my dear, you couldn't believe it. Children walked in front of us, and when I come pray, and I was like, what's happening with these children? Had they really touched the two, but you could see them crying, telling their story, telling, for me, I came here, and I was saying, this is very good that the children can have an opportunity to say, here I come, and I find a place where I can testify, tell my story. Someone has talked to my life, and that's what I'm going through. I need prayer, I need encouragement, and for me, that's meaningful. So, as parents send their children, as teachers bring their children, we want to encourage them to continue to love the Lord, to grow and serve Him, to be able to be Christians that grow as adults and transform their world, transform their families, their communities. We are the change we want to see. And we believe as a church, let's start now with the children. Let's start where the God has given us opportunity to love them, to care for them, to teach them, to mentor them, to nurture them into godly values.
Amazing.
Amen.
About the Church of Uganda Children's Ministry funding all these the transportation that is going to be bringing the children to Namgongo, or is kind of different?
Yes, Church of Uganda usually, of course, is within the churches as well. So the organizing churches that are bringing the children as well support them. They pay for their transportation. For us, we're able to provide some things like meals. And the organizers, of course, support us. For example, we have tents there, we have chairs, we have a sound system there. Some of the games that have been prepared, the organizers are able to support us with us. And we thank the government because they've been giving us some support as well to make sure these events happen. So we believe that this program, and if you're out there and you want to support something, you're still welcome. We can still support the children to be able to learn. We love the supporters. So it's an event that all of us have contributed. Churches are putting some money. The organizers are also raising some support. The government support is as well. So all that comes to support the children, and they also contribute some things. Of course, we're not charging them money as they come for the event, but we're able to say from the churches, they're able to contribute some money, maybe to have transport, so parents can support them in as they come, and they'll be able to have a snack maybe, which they can on the way, because their children, they will get hungry on the road. So if they're able to pack for them a snack, that's your contribution as well for them, and that's very important. So we say it's not something we are charging, it's a free event. You come, you're able to be with us, you join in, come dressed. Especially we say that the teachers must bring children when they are organized in a group, identified. We don't want to lose children who have come and we don't know where they have come from. So every group that comes, we must make sure that you are identified. You know who the children are. You have the same uniform or same colors or something that you can identify them. When they come, we also register them. We have security there to make sure that the children who come are known. We count them. We know who has come from where. We give them where to sit, and they stay in one place. We direct them what to do, because we're very important about security, safeguarding the children, make sure that they are all in the right place, doing the right things. And we make sure that even the teachers who come, they know which children they come with them. They say, don't send the children alone. They must come with an adult. If the children are coming at least from a home, let them have a maid or someone adult coming with them. If they're coming from a school, a teacher or teachers at least go with them. Coming from a church, so the school leaders at least are there with them. We don't want children who are walking alone on their own, getting lost that they're coming alone. Usually, actually, we say all children must be accompanied. They shouldn't come alone. So adults coming with the children are welcome as well, because the children do not come alone. They usually come with adults escorting them. Their teachers, parents, or their caregivers, or someone who's staying with the children. Someone must escort the children. That's very important for us, and make sure that they are identified easily. They are able to come. And we said the younger ones who cannot come, or usually we say can start at least 5, 10, above 15. That's okay. But some of the children who are very young, toddlers, like 2 years, 0 years, those really I don't encourage them to be out there. But we usually encourage the children who are able to talk, who are able to come to class. So they will learn something at least. So 5 years above is okay. I think those ones can understand. They can be able to learning something. So below we say, please, those ones preschoolers, like if those who are kindergarten, I would encourage, they can wait and come when they are later. So P1 above is a good idea to come. Those who are preschoolers, I wouldn't encourage them, because the crowds are many, and you don't want to have a child getting lost or disturbed. So really the younger ones, I always say, can they stay home? We can always watch on TV or watch elsewhere, but as they grow, they can always come. So we want a certain age group, at least above P1, they can be able to come, and that's around 5, 6, 7. They can come. Maybe
more clarifications. How many children or the youths are you expecting from each diocese? Which number did you give?
We have limited the numbers, yes.
Why
That
did
at
you
least
limit
every
it?
church must send 30, maximum in 30 for
Why
every
the
group.
30?
30, we are saying that every year, because it's an event that happens annually, so you can bring next year another 30, next year bring another 30. This event is not ending tomorrow. So when you bring this year, plan to bring another group next year, like that. Otherwise, we cannot say bring 100 of them from one group. It's not fair. So usually we guide the churches, we guide the leaders that please, at least every church, every school, maximum 30. Maximum 30. Don't bring more than 30, because if we're bringing, at least those numbers can be catered for from the dioceses.
Yes,
And communicate to us early as leaders, as organizers. Say, I'm coming from Busoga Diocese, I'm coming from Ankole Diocese, I'm coming from Chigezi, from Kitugum, and I'm bringing a group of 30. Those are very important. That's why we put our numbers out there. We communicate with the leadership in the dioceses, with the churches, so there is a clear number on what is coming. But we always say it's good for you to limit your numbers. Do not bring very many children, because if there are more than 30, then they need a lot of care, and the numbers will be too many. So at least 30 with at least 2 caregivers, 2 leaders, 2 adults who are able to be with them. 15 at least for every adult is a good number for every care to give. So we have given guidelines on the numbers as well, to say at least for every 15 young people must have at least an adult with them escorting them. And that's a good number that we believe can be cared for.
All right. As we're winding up, we need to discuss some few points that are kind of interesting and that will help our parents out there. When it comes to early marriages in our children, 15, 12 years, others are into relationships when they're still young. Our parents have no confidence or the urge to sit Rita down and tell her, Rita, you know what, you're still young to engage into this relationship, no sex things related into that, because maybe they are ashamed to really do that. So Reverend, on your view, or what is your take point about that, and what is the way forward into this? Because you're seeing children who are into marriages, yet they are children, still young.
I think it's very unfortunate that in this country we still have young children getting married. I think there are legal provisions in this country which bar children from getting married. You are a child, you are below 18, the laws in this country do not encourage you. And I've called upon the churches. As a church, we have a child protection policy that actually guides everything we do. We say a child below 18 should not be married, should not be encouraged to even enter a relationship because they are still young. And for us, we believe that sex is in marriage context. Do not begin involving yourself in things when you're not yet ready. You're still a young girl, you're still a young boy. Don't start sleeping around because you'll end up in problems. And I realize that many of these young girls and young boys get married because they end up with things that they shouldn't have done. So when someone gets a girl, it's a young girl, they sleep together, she gets pregnant, he says, now what do we do? Let's start living together. And they are forced into a situation they were not ready for. Do not go into a situation which you're not yet ready for. As a young man, as a young woman, be able to keep focused on what you want to do and achieve before you can get out there. And I think the parents need to be more intentional and deliberate. We have many parents who are not mindful. The friends of the children that you have, what are they doing at school? Where do they do things? Even in the schools and the teachers, what are they doing? Please, let's protect our young people. If these are young boys and young girls, know where they are going. Like now they're on the holiday. If they're walking out everywhere, where are they going? What are they going to do? Who is there? And please, let's not push the young people into marriages. They're not yet ready. You've made someone's daughter pregnant and now take her to be married. But is this young man ready? Can he look after him? They will start fighting. They are even still children themselves. And they're going to be parents of a child when they all themselves are a child. So I want us to encourage parents as well to start be strong on their parents. When we're growing up, parents were very hard on us. They didn't encourage you to walk around everywhere, to do chivulu, these vivulus which are happening, and you're saying the children are all walking everywhere. Then holiday, we are going for party, for go back to school, for whatever. That's where the problem comes from. The children are going to end up with problems. The young girl is going to be lured into something they shouldn't have done. The young boy is going to do something they shouldn't do. I think we need to be able to continue to keep our hand as adults, as parents, on our children. Let's keep an eye on them. They are young, they are vulnerable, they are prone to being deceived, they are not able to make right decisions, and that causes them to do many wrong things. As parents, we can't neglect them. We can't let them be alone. We need to be on the know. That's why even when we organize these events, we must make sure adults are there to see who is in charge of these children, what's going on, where are they going to sleep, who's going to be. Otherwise, you saw stories sometimes happen on social media where young girls were saying, we came walking on the road and then we met people, and I'm like, why are they alone? Whose parents are there? A parent, before you let a young girl, a young boy walk out of your house, continue to do things, I'm going to a pilgrimage, I'm going to Namugongo, know where they are going, what are they going to do, who are they with, what are they long, are they? Ask them what long are you going to be there, know who's going with them. Some of them, you find them in the bars, you find them them for them to go out in pork joints and doing everything. So I think this is an opportunity for us as parents to continue to be able to keep our children safe, do the right thing, and legally it is wrong for any young person below 18 to get married. And as a church, we condone it. We do not say, we say it's not right for us as a church to even see young couples getting married when they're young. You do not bring a young girl of below 18 that I'm getting married as a bride. No, that's illegal. So even us as church leaders must not accept that. We must not preside over community agreements where children are getting married. You know, this young girl has gotten impregnated by the big man. Now let him marry her. No. This is a young girl. We should say no. And I think we have a right as parents, as a church, protect young people. Young people in this country need us. It's unfortunate that they are vulnerable, that we have left them to be out vultures, to young people taking advantage of them, and we need to protect them. Think about it. If all of young people are taken advantage of, we do have reached where we have reached. That age when you are young. So please, let's protect our young people. They are here for us. They need to grow and have a future, a bright future at that. Can we be able to do what we can in our means as parents? Provide for them what is important. Talk to them and tell them when you don't have money, please don't go for a border man. Don't go to this rich man to buy you over. You don't have it, yes, but satisfied what you have. Sometimes the young people are so ambitious. They want a phone, they want this, you'll end up in a problem. Young man, young woman, do not accept things which are not going to give you. You'll end up lured into things you shouldn't have done. So I call upon young people, please let us be focused. Let us live for our faith. Let us stand strong. The world is hard. It is transforming. There are many things that call us to be able to continue to stand. Please, as a young man, as a young woman, do not accept to get yourself involved in things when you're not ready. You'll have problems. And for me, I think God wants you to grow and achieve your full potential. You are young, but you're going to grow and be the man, the woman that God wants you to be.
We have youth, the young men who don't want to work. They don't want to hustle. Can I call it hustling?
Yes.
They don't want to see that they put something into their pocket.
And that's interesting. Yesterday I was telling my son has likes doing these small jobs at home, and I give him some money and he goes buys the shoes. So young man yesterday sent me and said, Reverend, pray for me. I'm trying to buy shoes, but I don't have enough money. And I'm like, if you don't have enough money, why don't you leave the shoes? But you see, young people, I think and I told him, I said, look, even my house has young people. They work. You must do something to earn some money. If you like something, work for it. Young people must know that things don't come for free. You have to work. Even at home, teach them to work. You do something, I give you something. You don't work. Like now, my son, I told him, that one you have to work for it. That one you have to pay. I have to charge you. That one you have to look for money and look up. But I want shoes, classical shoes, nice canvas shoes, nice. But you don't have the money. Please, young man, young woman out there, if you don't work, you will not earn what you want. There's no free things in this world. You work hard, you earn. You start little, you get a little money, you save it, you get something you want, you buy a dress, you buy a good shoe because you like it. And your parents must also encourage you to work, to earn. Start small. Love to work when you're young. Don't wait when you are old. Some people think that we first grow and get a job. No, even digging around the house, even cleaning the utensils, even doing something at home. Learn, be involved. But they're there doing on TikTok, being on WhatsApp, and then you're there sleeping. You don't want to do anything. Young man, young woman, if you're listening to me, God calls you to work. They've given you hands, He's given you a brain, He's given you ability and energy. Use it to make yourself better. I can tell you in this world, there's no one who has ever become rich because they did not work, unless they are thieves. But I believe that when you work hard, God rewards your effort and you actually earn from your efforts. And let's teach our young people that work is healthy. It's not a punishment. God has not, and I think sometimes our preaching also is funny. They say, God will bless you. You can be rich. You believe God. Trust God. Yes, trust God, but do effort. Put in your work. Be involved in doing something. God has given you strength and energy for you to achieve something in your life. What are you doing that will add value to you, that you can be able to achieve something? And you can go back and say, I learned something. And I like the education system now with the new curriculum. There's a lot of projects working, doing things, and it's helping young people to raise some rabbits, raise some pigs, get some chicken, do something that can earn you something. Young man, young woman, don't sit home and wait for someone to give you free money. There's no free money. You will need to work somewhere to get something. And as you grow, when you love it, it will help you to be an important person who believes that work is positive and be faithful in what you do. So young woman, young man, please trust God, but also work.
Yeah, we need to work.
There's
a scripture that says that do not despise the humble beginning.
Exactly.
But of course, most of us, we have despised the small
The
start.
small start,
We want
yeah,
this big,
yeah.
big after campus.
And that's
I want
unfortunate.
to-
You can't
Yeah.
start with a big car, big house. All start small. Start small in your means, and then you'll be there. But sometimes ambitions, too much being ambitious. I think that's also not, that's a sin that we need to be. Yes, you can have ambitions, but do not start with the big ambitions. You will end up stealing, doing things you shouldn't have done because you want to show off. And I think social media also is telling us, I want to look good. I want to have a good. I want to be like a celeb. But you are young. You're not yet a celeb. You're not yet there. What will you do? Do not put yourself on a level where you are not.
Well, you know.
Understand who you are. I am a humble man, I am a woman, I come from a humble background. Start small, and God will take you to that level.
Right.
But when you start being, I want to be like so and so, I want to look like so, and then you're competing, you will end up not even achieving what you'd have achieved. So I think we need to challenge ourselves as young people and families to appreciate that we are living humble, but in humbleness, God rewards us and gives us opportunity to grow and be able to be better. Don't look at what you don't have. Look at what God has given you.
given us.
The little that you have, can you grow it? Can
Yeah.
you improve it? Can you trust God as you work at it to be better?
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah, one last question in just a summary. To any parent or to your father, is it really worthy for you to force a child to attain something he or she doesn't want or isn't comfortable with?
I think that's unfortunate. Of course, we have many parents who have grown in a world where you are told to tell children to do something. But I always say as a children's worker that parents must know that children have a mind of their own.
Yeah.
We all have been created with a mind. This young boy, this young girl has a mind. Listen to them. Sometimes the assumption that parents have and adults is not, you don't have a mind. I have to tell you everything to do. Yes, some things you'll tell them. That's why sometimes they don't do what you've told
Yes,
them,
that's
because
right.
they're thinking, are you realistic? Are you appreciating? In my age, I did this. In my world, I do
Yeah, so you
this.
should
So
do
I
that.
always say, remember that children have a mind of their own. Youth have a mind of their own. They are growing into adults. They have a mind. They think. Actually help them to think, to make decisions which are thoughtful.
Yeah.
What is your mind telling you? You want this one, but is it right? Are you deciding that? Is that what you should be doing? So I think many times we do not take into consideration that children and young people have a mind of their own. As you make a decision for them, yes, you're guiding them. And I tell parents, let's guide them.
Yeah.
Let's support them. Let's encourage them. Let's motivate them. Let's look at what we can tell them to be able to see future. Think through what their decisions are. You're doing that decision. Is that the right decision? Have you thought about it? Are you doing the right way? But telling the child, do this, do that, sometimes you'll have a problem.
That's right.
They will end up not doing it, and you think that they're not obedient. But you're thinking like they don't have a mind. So for me, as a children's specialist, I tell parents and adults that we need to appreciate that children are in thinkers, they have a mind. The more we encourage them to think through their decisions, the more we empower them to appreciate that making decisions is a good thing on their own, the more they will be able to grow to adults who are sensible adults, who can make decisions and be able to stand by them. But when you start telling them what to do, even when they are adults, they might wait you for you and say, well, tell me what to do now. Should I marry now? Should I get a job? Should I now go to school? Should I? And I think that's unfortunate.
It's
So
unfortunate, yeah.
empower them. And the best parent is empowering the children to be able to make decisions and stand by them and know that they are making the right decisions, not for you to direct them and dictate on them what they should do.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much. We have come to the end of this beautiful program. So parents, be considerate. To me, you shouldn't force me to be a police lady if I'm really interested to do my own business. Yeah, you should be considerate. Reverend, thank you so much for this beautiful information.
Thank you.
Guys, on Saturday, please, if you really have never been to Namgongo, the Anglican side, actually, it should be the first
The
person to
children,
be there.
yes,
Should be there and learn more of these matters, who really died for their faith, to ensure that they portray Christ. Few days are remaining, only 12 days are remaining, and it's over 140 years celebrations and commemoration. This is really interesting. My name is Rita Nandera. May the good Lord keep you, and may his face shine upon you, and have a blessed Thursday. Bye-bye.
Issues at hand. This is